The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
A young fella comes into the yeshiva to BMG, and he's being tested by Rabbi Gesundheit, one of the primary mashpiyim in Mesirat of Lakewood. And he comes to him to faher him. He's the head of the Choshen Mishpakoil. And as far as the way, again, I heard the story, if you'd like to correct me, please do so. He comes in to be fahered by Rabbi Shia Krepenya. Rabbi Shia is nispoil. He's blown away by the depth and clarity of this young fella. He mamish is there, and maybe they're meant to get together and talk and learning for an hour, and they wind up talking and learning for many hours. After which Rabbi Shia is so profoundly taken with this young man that he asks him, he says, "Tell me something, that you have such a tremendous clarity and depth of knowledge. Are you an Eloi?" He says, "No." He says, "Did you do particular while yeshiva?" He says, "No." Then how could you come in here with such a tremendous kinyan of Torah that you understand it so well? He says, "I'll tell you the truth." He says, a number of years ago, I was in the Sifta, and of course we daven together Mondays and Thursdays together with the Mesivta, and by Shachris, they gave me Hagba. And when I went to Hagba, I went ahead, and even though it was a regular, normal weekday, I did Hagba backwards the same way that you do in Sivus Torah on the Sefer Torah. Of course, immediately people started giggling, they started making fun, they started saying things. It became, as they call today, a hak in the yeshiva, that this guy, this fellow, he went Hagba backwards. Immediately after davening, I'm summoned to the Rosh Yeshiva's office. And he sits me there, he says, "My, what did you do? What is this, a joke? On a regular day, you do backwards Hagba. What are you doing?" So I told him, I said, "I'll explain to you what I did. And if you still think that I did something wrong, okay, we'll see what to do about it." He says, "Tell me." He said the fellow that got shlishi on that particular Monday or Thursday was someone who had a terrible stutter. And he was struggling mightily to be able to get through the brachas. And the Bochum in yeshiva started giggling, somewhat pointing out this fellow's difficulty. And it became like a tremendous busha for him. So after the Chazan said Kaddish, they gave me Hagba, I said to myself, what could I do to turn attention away from him? What is it that I could do to make sure that the Bizyanis stop? So I went ahead and I did Hagba the wrong way. I did Hagba like a Sifas Torah. And immediately the giggles broke out and they started focusing on me instead of on him. He turns to Rabbi Shia and he says, from that point on, that's when I started being Matzliach for my learning. Hafel Dekamaisa. You have to have Siyata Deshmaya.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org